In Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer, you are part of an Apex team, the best of the best the Nexus has to offer. While not a regular group of soldiers, they are nonetheless talented individuals that take on the most dangerous and important missions in this new galaxy. In this series, we are going to take a look at the various class builds for the various characters in the game's multiplayer. So with that in mind, I'm Darcblade, and let's take a look at the next character in our series of Mass Effect Andromeda Multiplayer class guides, the Turian Havoc Trooper. As always, remember that these guides are aimed at the harder difficulties in the game and are mainly looking at rank 10, level 20 characters, although there will be advice for lower ranked characters later on in the video. The Turian Havoc Trooper bears no similarities to the Turian Havoc in Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, unfortunately. In Mass Effect 3 they were a very hit and run style character. Now they have been changed slightly. They have pretty standard combat abilities, but their unique aspect is that they can make use of airborne passives, making them very powerful while airborne. But anyway, I spec the Turian Havoc Trooper as follows. First with Incinerate. I only put 1 point into this ability, in favour for the other 2 abilities and her passives. If you did want to favour maxing out Incinerate, dropping points elsewhere, then I would probably favour going up to Detonator at rank 6, Impact at rank 5 and Radius at rank 4. The main reason I chose Detonator is because if you wanted to use Incinerate on this character, you could use it as a detonator tool, so long as you took some consumable ammo type for your weaponry. Otherwise, this character is not reliant on combos whatsoever. Next with Turbocharge, I maxed this out, focusing on rapid fire weapons. So I put points into Supercharge at rank 6 over Dump Heat, at rank 5 Damage and Force over Accuracy and Stability, and then finally with rank 4 I put points into Duration over Recharge Speed. Now if you were to focus using a, say, Sniper Rifle for this character, change rank 6 to Dump Heat over Supercharge, rank 5 pretty much stays the same, and then at rank 4 change it to Recharge Speed. This will allow you to get optimal use when using a Sniper Rifle. But like I said, I'm using a rapid fire weapon, so I've gone with the spec I'm using in this video. Next with Flak Cannon, I maxed this out going up to rank 6, putting points into Shredder over Flak. This is so it adds a little bit of a damage over time effect to the ability. Next with rank 5, this is where it gets important, I put points into Stunning over Anti-Armor. Stunning turns Flak Cannon into a stun and interrupt ability, giving you a moment's respite from an enemy's assault or stunning them so you can freely do damage to them. And then finally with rank 4 I put points into Power Cells over Damage and Force. This is so I will have more opportunities to use Flak Cannon. Next with the passives, with Munitions training I go up to rank 6, putting points into Sustained Fire over Precision. This is again because I'm using a rapid fire weapon, enabling me to get that defense debuff on an enemy quickly. If I was going with a Sniper Rifle, I would favour Precision. Next with rank 5 I put points into Weapon Efficiency over Melee Synergy. This is because I won't be really using melee attacks at all. And then finally with rank 4 I put points into Weapons Training over Power and Melee. Again because this character is going to be focused mainly on weapon damage. And then finally with her last passive, Aerial Assault, this is where things become unique to her. First I go up to rank 6, putting points into Aerial Engagement over Close Quarters Momentum. This will allow more damage resistance while airborne, as well as extend the hover duration if you are able to get kills while hovering. Next with rank 5 I put points into Aerial Evasion over Dive Bomb, again because I won't really be using this as a melee character and Aerial Evasion gives me more damage resistance while airborne. And then finally, with rank 4, I put points into Hover over Health and Shields. Now if you didn't like to use this character in an airborne manner, I would change this up a bit. I would go at rank 6 Close Quarters Momentum and at rank 4 Health and Shields. But because she's able to get a lot of damage resistance and the introduction of siphon weapons, staying in the air and being airborne with this character is not as dangerous as it once was. Now as for weaponry, as I mentioned, you need to take a siphon weapon. Siphon weapons will allow you to get your health back while you're dealing damage. You also need to consider whether you want to take a rapid fire high capacity weapon or some sort of sniper rifle. I went for the latter, going for a weapon such as the Revenant, Ghost or Hurricane. As for your gear slot, take something to either increase your survivability or failing that, your weapon damage. Anyway, let's get on to the heart of the episode and talk about the moves and abilities the Turian Havoc Trooper has available to her. But first is Incinerate, a tech move that is found on numerous characters. Once you activate this ability, the Turian Havoc Trooper will fire from her Omnitor a fiery plasma projectile that will home in on opponents. Once it hits opponents, it deals damage, but also leaves a damage over time effect on that target. It also deals bonus damage to armoured opponents, so that's targets with yellow health bar, and unprotected targets, enemies who don't have yellow or blue health bars, will be burned, making them panic. Panic foes won't be able to fight back. On top of that, hitting an enemy with Incinerate will set them up for a fire combo, but this has to be detonated by your teammates, as the Turian Havoc Trooper has no real way of activating her own combos, unless you were to max out Incinerate and put points into Detonator. But doing this you would have to sacrifice points elsewhere. Also, for those wondering, you cannot fire Incinerate to prime your targets and then use detonator again to activate your own fire combos. There just isn't enough time between cooldowns. You need to be aware though that when hitting enemies who have shields, Incinerate won't prime these targets unless their shields are depleted first. For the Turian Havoc Trooper, having Incinerate is a nice backup to your already powerful arsenal. Next with Turbocharge. This is a wonderful ability available to most soldier classes in the game. Once used, the Turian Havoc Trooper will temporarily vent their weapons heat via their armour to improve thermal clip efficiency and boost their weapons firing rate. So when you activate this for a short period, your character will gain increased weapon damage, weapon rate of fire, and your clip size will be increased. This makes whatever weapon you are using so much better and is an awesome tool for burning down high priority targets like boss units. A tip for Turbocharge is that if you're running out of ammo, use Turbocharge and it will instantly reload your weapon. Of course, depending on what weapon you're using can also affect how you spec Turbocharge, as I've already mentioned. The third and final ability is Flak Cannon. Once used, the Turian Havoc will fire a Krogan designed shell that bursts into shrapnel upon impact with any surface or enemy. This causes a fair amount of damage. However, this is reduced against armoured foes, so enemies with yellow health bars. But for the Turian Havoc Trooper's case, we're not using Flak Cannon as a damage tool primarily. We're using it more as a stunning tool, a crowd control ability. Hitting an enemy with your Flak Cannon and its shrapnel effects will cause them to be stunned, giving you ample opportunities to freely attack them or reduce incoming damage to you and your team. Also, thanks to Shredder, he put a nice damage over time effect to enemies hit by the shrapnel, meaning that if you're playing a hit and run game, you can still deal damage to opponents while you're on the move. Flak Cannon is also a power cell fueled ability, meaning that you have a limited amount of them. They can be replenished however ammo boxes. This is both good and bad. Good in the way that you can use Flak Cannon to burst down opponents quickly if you so desire, but that means you'll burn through your power cells really quickly. The biggest downside is that they are power cells and you have a limited amount of them. Once you're out until you can resupply an ammo box. Whilst burning opponents down with Flak Cannon can come in handy, it's more efficient to burn them down with Turbocharge. But anyway, moving on to the passives. Munitions training. Basically this has been taken to increase your weapon efficiency, increasing your weapon damage, reload speed and more. Rank 6 in munitions training is the only one that could be debatable. Precision comes in very handy for if you're using weapons like the Black Widow or the sniper rifles. They will benefit from the headshot bonus that it could provide. However, sustained fire also provides a nice debuff, but getting that maximum debuff can take time. If you're using a rapid fire weapon, this isn't so much an issue, but if you're using a slow firing weapon that doesn't have much ammo, then it takes a while to get to that maximum debuff. And finally with aerial assault, the unique aspect of the Turian Havoc Trooper. As my guides are focusing on all the unique aspects these characters have, I build them accordingly to that in mind. So this is why I have spec'd aerial assault the way I have. But this isn't bad. When the game came out it was a little bit iffy, but thanks to the introduction of siphon weapons, the aerial assault becomes a lot better. Basically, whenever you encounter an enemy, you want to try to stay airborne for as long as possible while fighting them. Only drop down when you're under extreme fire from the enemies. If not though, you can pretty much take the hits. Whilst airborne you gain the damage resistance, coupled with a rapid fire siphon weapon and turbocharge, it means that you can fight through the enemy fire. This gives the Turian Havoc Trooper a unique advantage that none of the other characters really have. Her aerial assault passive also helps control her weapon while she's airborne, so not only will you get that damage resistance while airborne, but you'll be able to perform better with your weaponry. Of course, if you didn't like to play this character with the airborne bonuses, you can just go for increasing your health and shields, but I feel that if you're going to play that way, you are better off maybe taking the Turian soldier or even the human soldier. As I already mentioned, you have to ask yourself, do I want a high capacity rapid fire weapon, or do I want a sniper rifle of some sort? But anyway, the Turian Havoc Trooper is a Turian. As such, they have average health, but slightly above average shields. They have a standard dodge mechanic fueled with their jetpack, but they have an advanced hover mechanic. They can stay airborne for long periods of time, and thanks to the aerial assault passive with points in aerial engagement, it means that you could potentially stay airborne indefinitely. However, activating your hover while airborne, with the Turian Havoc, she will continue to float in whichever way you were moving prior to hovering. You can counter this slightly, reducing the movement or even bringing it to a stop by aiming down sights, then dropping your aim and then re-aiming again. Lastly, her melee attack is a standard melee strike with her Omni Blade. Now if you don't have a rank 10 level 20 Turian Havoc Trooper, then I would first advise maxing out Turbocharge. Afterwards, focus on maxing out munitions training, then work a little bit on aerial assault followed by Flak Cannon. To be honest, munitions training and turbocharge will allow you to take on most difficulties in the game quite easily. especially if you're just leveling up your character. Overall, the Turian Havoc Trooper bears many similarities to the other soldier classes out there. The human soldier, the Turian soldier, they are very similar. The thing that makes her stand out is her aerial assault capabilities. Whilst yes, this did used to put her at a disadvantage, the introduction of siphon weapons has kind of made things a little bit more balanced for her. With a siphon weapon in hand, especially a rapid fire high capacity weapon, it means you can fight through most incoming damage, even on platinum difficulty. It's only when things become extreme, when you're taking a lot of enemy damage, that you have to consider dropping down, recharging your shields, waiting for your allies' support before re-engaging. On paper, I must confess, the aerial assault seemed like a disadvantage for this character, but after putting this build into practice and playing around a little bit, even platinum difficulty does not seem hard with this character. But anyway, I hope this guide has come in helpful, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you another Mass Effect Andromeda Multiplayer class guide to the Turian Havoc Trooper. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.